I wasn't born with like the skills of acting. Some people are born with it, but some people aren't. You just don't give up. Don't feel I'm good enough. I should be somewhere better by now. I should be an A-list actor, but I'm not. I'm fucking shit. You should just die. But do I get people coming up to me and saying you're a cock? No.
Right, welcome back to my podcast, The Stephen Sulley Study. I've got my next guest in front of me, Josh Myers. Thank you very much, sir, for coming on.
Pleasure.
It's a Sunday. I rarely do a podcast on a Sunday, but when I had the opportunity of getting you onto this podcast, I thought, you know what, definitely got to come up for this one on a Sunday.
Appreciate
so thank you very much for your time, mate.
Welcome, man. Thank you for having me, bro.
So, when I was younger, I think the kind of two areas that most young men looked up to were either becoming a professional athlete, but predominantly football.
Yeah, of course. I want to be a footballer.
Or becoming an actor. And you're obviously in the acting world. So, I mean, look, I know it's not all plain sailing. It's not always a walk in the park, but I mean, it must be amazing being an actor and connecting to some of the biggest stars in the world.
Yeah, being an actor is very fun, I've got to say. But like you said, it's not as glamorous as people make out. Don't get me wrong, I love my job. I love working on film sets. I love working with amazing, talented actors and actresses. But yeah, you got people think, oh, this is such an easy life. You get paid loads of money. You go on sets. You get treated like royalty. But the truth of it is, you do and you don't. Like, you got to remember, so most film sets that I've done, you're up at 4 a.m, you're in your car by 5, you're getting to set, you're in makeup by 7, and you've got 12 hours of filming, and fight scenes, long dialogue scenes, and people watching this might be thinking, oh, he's a diva, but I'm definitely not one of them. But it does take it out of you. You're getting up every day at 4 a.m. to go on set, be on set in a makeup chair for 7, on set for 9 o'clock in the morning, and bang, you are filming, hardcore filming. But I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. I can't complain about my life. I love acting. I love meeting other actors, and yeah, I love it, mate. It's the best thing.
I don't know, but can you learn acting, or is it something you're kind of born with? Because they say with singers, dancers, you kind of have to be slightly maybe born in with that skill slightly.
Yeah.
I have the same conversation with boxers, because as you well know, I box. I've got a fight coming up in March, and I've had Harlem Eubank on my podcast, Mick Condon, who's now about to fight for a world title, Bradley Skeet, O'Hara Davis, Ted Cheeseman, a load of them, and we always have the same conversation of, can someone learn the craft of fighting, or do you have to be a fighter inside? And I've had mixed sort of answers to that. So acting, is it something that you kind of can learn, or is it something that you're born with?
That's a very good question, I have to say. Very good question. I think you're not necessarily... I mean, look, I wasn't born with the skills of acting. I wouldn't say... I still would say to this day, I'm still learning my craft. You can never stop learning. And at the end of the day, some people are born with it, but some people aren't. Just for example, I might get DMs or messages or people I meet out on just anywhere might say, I want a photo or signature, blah, blah, blah. And they'll say to me, I want to be an actor. And, the first thing I'd say pretty much is, how old are you? What's your age? Because I think starting young is a big thing. Because I'm 35 now. I started acting when I was about 12, 13 through my family who are in the film industry, which we'll get to. And it's something I always wanted to do. I always wanted to be an actor. I went to loads of film sets when I was younger, and I was like, I want this life. But at that point, by the time I was, there's a lot of kid actors who are 4, 5, 6 years old who are acting already. I was 12 or 13 when I went to Sylvia Young Drama School up in London. And I could express myself. I knew this is what I wanted to do. But are you born with it? That's a hard question, because some people can be, but also the people who are watching this who maybe not born with the ability to act and don't really know how to do improvisation, script works in front of a camera, what a tight close-up means or whatever, you can learn, you can adapt, go to drama school, all these drama classes that are out there online. If you want to be an actor, just go and do it.
There's a quote, a soundbite, and I don't know how accurate it is, but it sticks in the back of my mind all the time. And it was from Tom Cruise, and I think it was after where he played Jeremy Maguire.
Right.
And in that film, I haven't actually watched it, but I've seen snippets, and I think he's basically a salesperson raising money.
Right.
And when he was asked off set, they said, what makes a good actor? He said, if you want to find a good actor, find yourself a great salesperson.
Yeah.
And when I thought about that, I thought, you know what? There is a lot of synergy and links between a good salesperson to a good actor.
Yeah.
You both need to learn a kind of script.
Yeah.
You kind of need to step into that character. You need to be the most confident version of yourself.
Yeah.
You need to communicate and you need to deliver. And when I heard that, I thought, you know what? That makes complete sense. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would agree with that, massively so. I mean, there's not much to elaborate on that, but yeah, I would totally agree on that, 100%.
Yeah. So I listened to your podcast with Marvin Herbert this morning just to get a bit more sort of background. I've got to say before we go on to that, I want to have a big shout out to one of my guests, Jack Fincham, who I've got a lot of time for, and
a lot of love for Jack.
He connected me and you together. So thank you very much for Jack for that.
Cheers, Jack.
So anyway, Jack's told me a lot about yourself as an individual off of camera, and obviously I've known you on camera, watching you in certain films, and then I wanted to see a bit more about you, your characteristics, and just basically who you are as an individual. So I listened to that podcast this morning, and from North London, and I think a lot of young men, certainly in our era, I'm a year older than you, I'm 1985, you're 1986. There was a lot of things that I could relate to, because back when I was younger, I'm not from a poor household or anything like that, but I feel like before the age of social media, podcasts, YouTube, it was kind of quite easy to, if you weren't going to go down a conventional route, go down a bad route, which could be selling drugs, or it could be getting in gangs, or it could be doing a kind of whole gangster sort of lifestyle. And I wouldn't say I ever went down that path, but there was times in my life where I was hanging around with a group that notoriously kept on nicking motorbikes from people's gardens, or nicking people's cars, and I didn't really have the bottle to do it, but I was in the presence of them, so I'm actually part of the crime almost. And it wasn't until I found sales when I was 19, 20 years of age where I found the path, and it led me on to doing my own business, now into podcasts, etc.
Amazing.
I know you touched on with Marvin about back in the day, you used to do tagging, graffitiing, and then also maybe going down that kind of maybe that wrong path. So how did you pivot and try and sort of get yourself out of that?
So I mean, I used to hang around as like you said, when you're growing up, you sometimes go into like the wrong crowd of people, don't you? So I'd honestly say probably, I know maybe it's sad to say, but it was probably my mum and dad that saved my life. Because I didn't really have thank God I didn't really have a poor upbringing like yourself. I had not really nice upbringing, but I just went down the wrong path. I was smoking a lot of drugs, doing a lot of drugs, graffitiing. I used to sneak out of my room at 3-4 in the morning when I had school the next day, walk down the train tracks, graffiti, getting arrested, like all these different things. And I put my mum and dad through hell. Like I really did, getting arrested all the time. I'm talking like when I was like 15, 16 in your prime of being a little shit, really. And I just had an ultimatum. It's like, right, you either get out of this house, we kind of stop paying your pocket money, we stop doing whatever. But this took a long time for them to really sit me down and kind of say, look, this is like what's going to happen now. Like we'd never chuck you out on the street, but we don't want phone calls at 3 in the morning saying you've been arrested and you're in Holborn police station at 16 years old. Getting caught up with nicking cars, graffitiing, never robbed anyone, never done anything like that. It was more like just stupid stuff like graffitiing on trains and walls and, running away from British Transport Police. It's just stupid things, really, and obviously because I used to hang around with a lot of older people when I was younger, they'd steal cars to get from A to B, like graffitiing, like go from like where I lived to like Camden, for example, was like a 20-minute drive, whatever. So they'd nick a car, and I'd be in it and be involved in police chases and stuff. And thank God I got away with it a few times, very close calls. But I would say who saved my life and stopped me getting into crime, because like when I said on the Marvin Herbert podcast, like, I don't know, like my mum and dad put bars on my windows. I don't know if you heard that, but they put bars on my windows to stop me going out. So the only way I could get out of the house was going downstairs, turning the alarm off, unlocking the door, going out, which makes fucking load of noise. So they were just like, look, you've got no chance now. If you want to sneak out, they put bars on all the windows. So that stopped me going out. As much as I hated my parents for it, oh, you're out of order, why have you done that? You stopped me having my fun. And you look back now, they saved my life.
Because I heard that story that you said on his podcast that they got called about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Your dad assumed that you were still in bed. Yeah. They said, look, we've got your son here, Josh. And he was like, no, it's impossible. He said, no, we have.
Yeah.
And then you was about...
that like it was yesterday.
You was like an hour and a half away from home.
Yeah, I was in White City.
And I've got a similar story. For some reason, when I was turning about 13, 14, 15... between me and my mates, so I used to go to a school called Langley, which is in Kent, and there was another school not too far away in Bromley called Ravenswood. And I used to be friends with a lot of them now. Yeah. There was a guy there called Elliot, and my brother used to be good mates with his younger brother. So it was like quite a little tight network of friendship, friends I used to have. But we used to lie to our parents, say, I'm staying around his tonight and he's staying around mine.
Yeah, typical.
And what we used to do is literally meet up overnight, pretending we're standing around each other's houses, and for some reason, just walk the streets. We would go from Bromley to Alpington to different parts of...
Not graffiti, just walking.
Just walking about and just causing them a bit of mayhem, really. We'd do a little bit of tagging, but it was more like nicking something or just walking about. And this is when weed started coming into the equation, a little bit of weed here and there. I didn't really smoke it too much. I used to try and do it, but I always used to cough it up. Right. And then I remember one time we got nicked outside Ravensbourne School. Yeah. By just a meat wagon coming past. He said, how old are you lot? He said, they picked us up and they called our mum and dads and they took me to my dad's. Terrible. And then my dad was like, what you do? What is the point to what you're doing? And now looking back, it's the most stupid thing I've ever done.
We were kids. What a bit. Yeah. Like I thought going out and graffitiing was cool. But I look back now and I just think, what the fuck was I doing? Waking up at 2-3 in the morning, going out on my own to meet someone who was my mate. I'd meet them at a certain point, but at that one point, I remember I never thought the dangers. Like I was a 15, 16-year-old kid, wait till my parents go to sleep, 2-3 in the morning, I'm opening my window, climbing down the drain pipe, or wherever, how I used to get out, and then my mates would be like, right, we'll meet you here. So I wasn't like, meet me outside my house and we'd go. It was like I'm on my own at 3 in the morning and walking down the road for 10 minutes, meeting 3 or 4 people my age, my mates, going, right, yeah, sweet, you're here, well done. Smoking weed, walking down the train tracks. We could have been hit by fucking trains. Yeah. What do we know? I was stunned up my head. I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. But like I said, going back to, why did I stop and whatever, it's got to be because of my parents. Because they loved me so much and obviously I loved them, they put bars, they were like, I come home from school one day and they put bars on my windows. The only way I didn't have bars was the little window, which I couldn't even fit my arm through. And I was like, what's going on here? I said, well, you're never getting out of the house again, are you? Unless we know. And like they said, the only time I could go out is when they go to bed, the alarm's on, the door's shut, everything's and the dog at the time. So if I went downstairs, they'd be barking, alarm going off, front door clacking, they'd be like, what's not happening? Yeah. So I never went out. I remember about a year and a half, I caused them so much distress and alarm from going out, saying, I won't do it again, to then doing it again, getting calls from the police. So then one day just stopped. I had to.
So on the note of graffiti, since we're here at Woodbury House, and I just gave you a bit of a rendition with the artist that we promote, a guy called Richard Hamilton. He's known as a godfather of street art. Yeah. But when I was younger, and yourself, doing the tagging is slightly different to how he started his movement. But I've interviewed a lot of people in his ecosystem who were taggers and now they've gone into more like commercial contemporary art, and it's an art form which they sell their works in galleries. Yeah. And talking about, on the trains, there's a guy called Cope 2, LA2, Crash Days, all these people from New York, they're like the OGs of the graffiti street art scene. Right. They're still alive today. And plenty of them. There's a guy called Risk, actually, that told me the amount of times that friends used to fall off bridges and die, hit by a train, or rival gangs. There was one time he was doing some work and a rival gang member started on him, and as he ran off, they shot him in the back of his leg. I know America's slightly different to the UK, but
Definitely.
that kind of environment is quite edgy, and you can get yourself in banging trouble. And I could never. Now looking back, I used to think to myself, what was the point of me tagging? Because I was never wanting or was never going to become an artist.
Yeah, I was never good enough. What am I doing?
What did you ever have that mindset of I want to become an artist, or is it just to do something?
Never, just to do. I never thought I was going to be an artist. I never thought, oh yeah, sweet, I'm going to be a big artist one day. Everyone's going to look at my work. Fuck that. I just thought, going out, I'm going to cause some bloody chaos on the streets and cause some criminal damage.
Yeah.
But it was...
It's something to fill your time.
It was just at the time, I just remember it was fun then. But now I just look back and think, like, you're a fucking idiot. What were you doing? Like, and then the next day I'd have school. Like, so I'd, leave my, let's say, like, waiting for everyone to go. Mum and Dad were always late going to bed. Let's say 2 a.m, I'm opening the window, climbing down, trying to get out. The time I got home was 5, 6 a.m. I've got to be up at school for 7, half 7. I've got like 2 hours, an hour sleep, if that. Falling asleep in class, smoking weed in the shed with my other boys who I went graffitiing with the night before. Like, I was just a little shit. I was really, really bad. But like when my mum and dad just said, look, you got an ultimatum, right? You either leave the house, go live on the street, or you stay with us, but we put bars in the window and you stop doing what you're doing. And I did.
What was that like when you used to look out your window and see literally bars on the window? How did that make you feel?
It was weird. It was very weird because it was just like, it was weird. I felt safe because I can open my window. I know no one's going to come in. I ain't going to go out because it was literally bars, like proper like bars and window. Like there's no way you're getting in or out. So in a weird way, I felt safe.
Yeah.
I felt safe with having the bars on the window, and it stopped me causing mayhem.
And do you know, like the little things that you and I used to do when we were younger? I always look back and think I'm slightly embarrassed with some of the stuff I've done, but at the same time, it shaped me to who I am today.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you ever look back and think I shouldn't have done that, or no, fuck it, like that's who I am. This is who I've become. What I've done back in the past is who I am today.
There are certain things I won't say on here, but there are certain things that I've done, I've seen that I regret. But that's just being in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong crowd. Do you know what I mean? So, can you regret anything you've done in life? What's the point? You can't go back and change it. What's happened's happened. The past is the past. I always think, do not, it's like my tattoo. It says, don't dwell on the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate on your mind, the present moment. Why should I now think, oh, God, what I did 20 years ago, I shouldn't have done that? Because it would just eat away at me and, with what I suffer with, my mental health and depression, which we'll get onto as well, I might as well just move on from it. Everyone fucks up.
Yeah,
there's no one in this planet. I could go out on the street now in Soho and I could pick someone out, anybody who looks innocent and ever, and say, have you ever fucked up in your life? I guarantee you, I could go down that whole street, which is a busy high street, and not one person will go, no. They'll say, yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Of course they will.
Yeah.
But what's the point? You can't look back. You can't change time. Just focus on the present, focus on the future, and just live your life.
You've been in some great films. As I mentioned off air, a friend of mine, a friend of yours, Terry Stone's been on my podcast.
Yeah, good friend of mine, Terry.
Probably one of the most recent films I've seen of his back in the last year was Once Upon a Time in London, which is a bit of a film which is a rebuttal to Peaky Blinders a little bit.
It's a bit like 1940s, 50s/60s about a guy called Jack Spot who Terry plays, and my character is a Jewish gangster, Moishe Blueball.
Was Alfie Best Jr. in that film?
He was, yeah.
Yeah, he's been in one of my podcast guests as well.
Alfie's a good pal of mine. I'm very good friends with Alfie. I like him and his dad. They're very good friends. I'm very close.
They've both been in my podcast. His dad has,
yeah. They're both absolutely wicked people. I love them a lot. So shout out to the best. What else was I going to say? Yeah, so that was about Jack Spot. And I remember reading a book years ago about it. I think it's called A Man with 1,000 Cuts or something like that.
Okay.
And it's Hit Him Hard, Jack Spot, because he was a Jewish gangster.
Okay.
And he was partners with Billy Hill, who Leo Gregory played. Big up Leo. I played Jack Spot's right-hand man in the film.
Okay.
Blue Ball. And they were all like Jewish gangsters, weren't they, back in the day? And yeah, I think, cut a long story short, Jack Spot and Billy Hill were partners way before the craze come about. I think they were kids when this happened. This was about, and Billy Hill and Jack Spot saw differences. Had a bit of a scrap. I think Jack Spot got cut in the face, and It was mad with Frankie Fraser, all that kind of time, and then Billy Hill took over, and that was kind of it, really. But yeah.
So you've been out, and I really enjoyed that film. There's also Green Street Green 3.
Yeah. Green Street Hooligans, I think it was called.
And I think my favourite film.
Yeah.
Like on a personal stance, sure. not just because you're in it, but personally for me, if I would say pick like 5 to 10 films, like your very best ones that you can repeat over and over and over, is Legend, with which is the Craze Brothers, right, with Tom Hardy in it.
Good film.
You was in that as well, wasn't you?
So I was in that, but basically what happened was they cut my scene away, which was really annoying. It hit the editing floor. But yeah, no, I did work with Tom Hardy.
Okay.
But they cut my scene, which is a bit annoying. But what can you do?
Well, I was going to ask you, like,
happens.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
It's all about acting, because that happens in films. Like, you could get a part in a film, and you go to the cinema to watch it, like, I'm not in it. Like, oh, you didn't make the, but you can't be worried that or embarrassed that you didn't make the cut. But then you've done the audition, they liked you, they wanted you as an actor, but you made whatever. Doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it might have not have suited.
I still with Tom Hardy. Fucking hell, he's one of the biggest actors in the world.
Well, this is what I was going to get onto. Like, Tom Hardy has obviously played some great characters in different films, and he's worked with the elite. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio a bunch of times, and
special, man.
And I think he's up there with probably some of the best actors in the world. You know,
100%.
He's quite diverse in how he plays stuff.
Tom Hardy is unbelievable,
incredible. He was in Rock and Roller and loads of other stuff. What's it like to work with someone like a Tom Hardy or some of that ilk?
Scary, definitely scary, but he was actually the nicest geezer, nicest guy I ever met. I remember being on set with him. I only had 2 days on Legend, regardless of they didn't put my fucking scene in. But yeah, no, it was just great to have dialogue with him, have a scrap, and do all the fight scenes with him. I mean, even just little things, like you see a huge actor like him. And I remember just one point we was about to do our scene. We'd been talking in the makeup trailer and whatever. And I thought that was the first time I met him. And I remember he was sitting down on the set and he had a chair next to him. I was just standing up minding my own business. He was like, oh, mate, come sit down if you want. I just sat down next to him. We was talking about half an hour before we started filming. And I was just like, just normal conversation, all about life. Who I know in the film industry, who he knows, and blah. I just thought, what a nice fucking... At the end of the day, even though he's a top actor, one of the best at the moment, he's just a normal guy. And that's what you've got to take away from everything. We're all just normal people, but we're just... Well, he is a fucking talented man. And
bar Tom Hardy, who would you say has been up there with the very, very best people in the film industry that you've worked with?
I've worked with Orlando Bloom.
Okay.
He was pretty special. I did a film called Romans a long time ago. Probably about 4 or 5 years ago. The Shamazian brothers, big up the Shamazian brothers, they directed it and wrote it. A film called Romans. I went on set. I had like 3-4 days on that. I can't remember the time. I think it was before Tom Hardy or maybe it was after. I don't know. But I got to work with Orlando Bloom. And he's a fucking legend. All the Lord of the Rings and all the Hobbits. He's a fantastic actor. He's well known all around the world, with Katy Perry now. So fair play to the geezer. But yeah, no, he was definitely, but he's a good actor. He's actually generally a very good actor and a nice guy as well. It's mad, you meet like people like Tom Hardy, Orlando Bloom, and you think, oh, fucking hell, like, I've got to be wary. I'm just like, oh, nice to meet you, or whatever. But they're just normal people, man. They're just fucking at the top of their game. Yeah.
Is there anyone you would like to work with in the future?
Would I like to work with in the future? Oh, I was going to say Leonardo DiCaprio because it's just Leo. But for acting-wise, me personally, I'd say Daniel Day-Lewis. And I think he's kind of retired, but for me, he's probably one of the best actors I've ever seen. Yeah, without question. Daniel Day-Lewis is one of the best actors in the world.
Yeah.
100%.
So, obviously working on all these great films and all these great people, it's, as we said at the start, it's not always a smooth transition into that kind of top tier of films.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to like do all the hard graft at the start and things you kind of don't really want to do in the film sector, I would imagine, just like anything that you do.
Yeah, of course.
Talk to me about that transition then. So obviously going back to when you had bars up in your mum and dad's house and you were trying to make that transition into full-time professional acting, what kind of work did you have to do in order to get noticed and to be appreciated and then given a chance into mainstream?
I would say it's a lot of hard work, a lot of graft, as in like going to, drama classes every day, every other weekend. A massive thing for me was networking. Like that is so fucking huge. Networking, meeting producers, meeting directors, meeting casting directors, people that are going to give you a job. Just not like licking arse, but just being a nice guy. Don't have to go and meet a director. But like, give me a role, getting a good show reel. That is fucking hard because I'll put a prime example. Like one of my mates, I won't mention, but for example, said like he's like 28, 29. He's a lot younger than me. He said, I want to do acting now. He's a very good actor actually, but he needs a show reel, which is basically shows all your work to agents. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So getting the show reel together is very hard because you've got to have body of work. You've got to have film jobs.
Okay.
Take the stuff that you've done and put it on your show reel, on the DVD to give, or online, whatever, to give to your agent or people who might take you on. But just getting a show reel together is so fucking hard because you've got to have body of work behind you. But how do you get this body of work behind you if you ain't got a show reel? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like,
it's like the catch-22.
Like if I go, he could be great in that film. Let's see a show reel. Oh, I haven't got one yet. Well, fuck off then. Let's go to that guy who's got a show reel and it's brilliant. But I'm brilliant. Well, I don't know you. Do you see what I'm saying? It's very hard. But I remember starting out, because I was very lucky, people that I knew in the industry and from my family that are in the film industry, I got interviewed to people. I auditioned in front of them. And they were like, well, if I can see what you're doing in front of me, I don't need to see what you'll be on your show reel. I didn't have a show reel when I was like 14, 15. My first film role was, I think I was 17 or 8. I might have been 17, 18 years old on a film that my friend Reg Travis wrote and directed called Psychosis, a horror film. I was like 17, 18 years old. I didn't have a show reel. Pardon me. I didn't know what I was doing. But I would drama school, drama classes. I knew I wanted to be an actor. And that's basically what I did. So it's very hard. I don't want to promote this as in like, oh, it's easy. Yeah, anyone can be an actor. If you want to do it, you got to put the fucking work in. You got to graft, network, meet people. Be a go-getter.
Well, I've interviewed almost 200 people now on my podcast over the last 3.5 years, and everyone I've interviewed, from footballers to boxers to actors to people in music, people in art, it always comes down to the same thing. It's mindset, it's belief, hard work ethic. And even when you get rejection, you've got to step past that and continue pursuing your dream or your passion.
100%.
And there must have been a few times where you had big knockbacks and you thought, is this really for me? No, fuck it, I need to push on.
100%, mate. I've had many setbacks, I won't mention the films or the TV series, but, prime example, last year got an audition for a massive TV series, which is out now, huge, for a big, fucking big role. Got down to the last 2. They said, it's between you and another guy. So they give you a call back. So you don't do the audition. They call you back, say, we love you.
Do I know the actor?
You probably would now, but I can't. I don't want to say it. Yeah.
No problem.
But yeah, and then I was just like, it's between me and him. They're probably going to go for him because he's done more, but I'm new, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they went with him, whatever, it is what it is. But I was gutted. It would have been like a year's filming, made my career massive, could have made me even bigger than I, because I'm not at the stage where I want to be yet. Still got a long way to go, and I know that. I'm still young, I'm only 35. But... and then, there's other things. Yeah, there's loads of things I've been let down by, but it's the not giving up. You shouldn't give up. Just because you've got a setback. I've been doing it since I was 12, 13 years old. My first film I was 17, 18. I'm now 35. I've done like 22, 23 films, maybe 24, whatever. Let's say 25, whatever. But you just don't give up. You're going to get setbacks in anything you're doing, any walks of life. But going to an audition, and the worst thing for me was preparing for a film role or a TV series. Like, you get the dialogue and you absolutely fucking nail it, and you walk out the audition and go, I've got that, I'm gonna fucking get that, and you're so hyped up and like, I've got that, and then you get a call, no you didn't get it. You're like, yeah, depressed. It's fucking horrible.
Do you get it the other way around though, where you've done an audition, it's not been your best audition,
and you get it,
and then suddenly they call you and say they love you?
Yeah, I've had that a few times. Well, I remember I auditioned. I didn't do the film in the end because that just something happened with the contracts and blah 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 whatever. But I remember just walking there, just going. I remember my agent just saying, just go in there and do it. I was like, yeah, I am, but I just, no way I'm getting this. No way. They're like, but you don't know that. I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll do it, whatever. Done it. And you know, when you walked in there and you think, walked out, told you I wouldn't get it. I've got a phone call, they're like, you never guess what? I thought, they've called you back, they like you. Go back again, get the part. And then I remember I went again, another fucking stupid thing, but contracts were a bit, something was wrong and we just didn't do it in the end. But it was just like, but that prime example. But there's a lot of things that, you know, when your agent rings you, said, oh, I've got a great audition for you, they want to see you for this. And you've heard of that series 1 before, for example, and you're up for series 2 for main characters in every fucking episode, you think, fuck, that's life-changing. The money's ridiculous. You're going to go all around the world on fucking Netflix. Probably be top 10 in the UK and Netflix, wherever. You go in the interview, you go in the audition, you absolutely fucking smash it. Well, you think you do. But that's another thing as well. You don't know. Like you got to be confident. You got to have that. You got to be confident to know that. Oh yeah, I've fucking nailed that. You got to nail everything. If you really want to be an actor or anything you do in life, you have to fucking smash it. Don't half-heart shit. Just fucking do it. Do you know what I mean? And I remember going into some auditions and I'm just like, right. And I might see, because when you're younger as well, and I'm going on a tangent here, but you might see 10 people in an audition room and you're like, fuck, they're all going for my same role. When you start getting bigger parts and you become known actor, it's very boutique. Like they go, right, we want that guy from the agency, we want to see Josh, we want to see him, and that's it. So they might see 3 or 4 people. Instead of back in the day, it was like 20, 30 people, like 3-4 going for one role. And you're like, right, I'm getting to all these people, right, fuck them, I'm going to, even though I might know them as mates, like, oh, what's going on, brother, I can't believe you went for the same role. Like, you can't, I'm going to fucking get this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to fucking get this. And then you don't get it. And that's it. But you don't give up, don't let it get to you. And it has got to me many times before because, you know, like I said, like, you know, which we get into, like the mental health side of it and depression, which I've always suffered with, it does get to you sometimes. You just think, am I worth it? Am I going to do anything in life? But I know in the stage I'm in right now, I'm very happy. I know I've got a lot to go, just never giving up, and I'm never going to fucking give up.
Good man. So, like, going back to when you were younger, pursuing the career of being an actor, this is me just talking from an outsider's point of view and a bit of a naive point of view. But again, looking at the Brad Pitts, the Johnny Depps, the Tom Hardys, etc. Yeah. You look at them and you think, man, they must have a great life. They must be worth an absolute fortune. Yeah. They must be able to get any bird they want because they're on film all the time. They must be able to get any table around the world at the top Michelin star restaurant because of who they are. Yeah. They just they open the doors to them. Was that a bit of a pull for you as a young person, or was going into acting more about the creative sort of outlet that it would bring your life?
I didn't really give a shit about being famous. I couldn't give a fuck. It doesn't bother me one iota. Like, I know it comes with the territory. Like, you know, a lot of like the Rise of the Foot Soldier films that I've done, I've got noticed a lot from them. Even like last night, I was at a bar with my friends and the minute I walked in there, like 3 or 4 people come up to me, oh, Kenny boy from Foot Soldier, blah, blah, can we have a photo? And I'm, yeah, sweet, of course you can. Like, oh, I think you're brilliant. They're all fucking smashed, but yeah, you know, that's the usual way, you know what I mean? You know, like the geezer, fucking, saw you on Foot Soldier, you're amazing. I'm like, yeah, and I'm just very humbled by it. You know, I think you're a brilliant actor, we love your character, Kenny, we think he's brilliant. But I didn't go into acting because I want to be famous. I went into acting because I want to provide for my family. I want to make good money. And I genuinely love fucking acting. I love being on a film set. I love acting. I love doing what we're doing now.
So what part of it when you're acting, let's say you're playing a role, what triggers you and thinks, right, I'm alive here, this is what I really love doing and this is my purpose? Yeah. And what stage in acting sort of triggers you?
I like playing, when I do acting, I'm playing a character which isn't me in real life. So it's the fucking best. Do you know what I mean? Like they're like, right, okay. So for, you know, just prime example, like something in the pipeline I might be doing is I'm playing a guy who is like a psychopath serial killer, and that's not me in real life. I'm a loving, caring father. You know what I mean? I've got a beautiful family, beautiful daughter, blah blah, whatever. But to play someone who you're never ever going to be in real life, that is fucking massive for me, because that just takes me out of who I am in my bubble, in my life, to outside my bubble, to someone completely fucking different. And I know I can play a serious character. So what spurs me on to do this is just the love of it. I love being on set. I love being in front of camera. I love seeing people's reaction. That's what I love. When I see someone's reaction, when I flip out and go fucking mad or try and stab someone in the film and they say cut and they're like, fucking hell, Josh, you are one scary cunt on scene. Then I get off camera, I'm like, oh, was it all right? Was it good enough? Then like, fucking hell, yeah, you're well different to that. And that's what acting is.
Yeah. So a lot of the films that you've been in is like, you're like, not one persona, but I know you on... if someone said, okay, describe Josh as an actor on camera, what sort of role he plays, he's normally a tough kind of person.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Someone who's very, very confident, outspoken, can be quite aggressive at times, tough man, etc.
Is this real life or...
it's a bit like Vinnie Jones, right?
Yeah.
If someone said to me, Vinnie Jones, tough man. You know, you'll just straight away say the same sort of thing.
Vinnie. He was in Foot Soldier Origins. Big up Vinnie, my boy.
He seems like a really good guy, actually,
he's
Vinnie.
cool, man.
I would love to interview him one day.
Yeah, Vinnie's cool, man. I like Vinnie.
That's also, in my mind, a bit of a blessing and a curse, because it's almost like you get known for that, which is great, because you become this sort of profile and you fit so many cool films. But the downside must be, if you get pigeonholed just into that one character, if another Hollywood film come up, it's almost like, oh, Josh Myers, he couldn't play that because he's just too much of a tough man. Yeah. Does that come up? Is that a thing that you think about?
No, very, very good question. That has come up a few times where my agent's been given a script, or I've spoke to, for example, producer friends of mine or my dad's, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to play that part, and they're like, yeah, but I just don't see you doing it, Josh. He's a nice, sweet, like, all right looking geezer. Yeah, he's from the street, but he's got that. I said, yeah, but I can play that. I said, you're only thinking because of what you've seen of me on screen or on film, whatever, but I'm the hard nut. Yeah, because I've got tattoos, I've got a broken nose from boxing back in the day, and I can play the hard nut. But I said, look, prime example, when people see this horror film I just done in like end of last year, I'm running away from the crime and the killings and fucking blood and gore. I'm a funny geezer in this one. Like, I've seen some of the rushes back already. I'm like, wow, that's fucking mad. Like, I'm not like shit's kicking off and I'm like, fucking hell, let's go that way. But yeah, but that's like me in real life. I'm not fucking pretend to be an old cunt or anything like that. It's just me on character. When someone says action.
So how did it all start then with you becoming this character on set? Because again, going back to like someone like Tamer Hussain, for example. Vinnie Jones, yourself. There's a few people. It's almost a little bit difficult for me to get out my head how you would be in another role. But I know good actors, which you are they can diversify. They can be quite dynamic. Yeah. But how did it all start with you becoming this kind of tough man in films?
I think when I first started doing, I think Green Street was the first kind of lead up. I played Big John in Green Street Hooligans, which is directed by James Nunn, who's just got a film out on Sky now called One Shot. Just come out on Sky. Give that a watch. Big up James Nunn. And Scott Atkins, who's the main part in that. But yeah, James Nunn cast me for Green Street Hooligans, and that was playing a West Ham thug, like a football hooligan. And prior to that, I don't think I'd done much hooliganism before. I knew I could play a hard guy, a tough kind of guy, but this was just like in the audition, like, right, give me like, I'm like a Spurs or Chelsea or Arsenal or whatever, and you're West Ham, right, fucking give it to me how you want to fight me, and I'm just there, right, action. I'm like, come on, you fucking... I loved it. I was like, wow, and they're like, cut, wow, fucking hell, that was scary. They're like, yeah, you got the part. Then and there, they told me I got the part. I played Big John.
How do you like brace yourself to going into character? Because like, I don't know if this is true, but like some people might run up and down, do loads of press ups. Someone might.
You're talking about actually on set.
They're going to say to like Josh, in a minute you're going to square up to the whole West Ham crew, right? Yeah. And you're from Chelsea or Tottenham, and you're going to absolutely have it, right?
Scene, wouldn't it? Me on my own. Come on, you fucking man.
They say, right, you got to have it with these people. I need you to get into character. Some people, I would imagine, this is me being naive again, do push-ups. Like when I used to do big calls to like some big clients when I was back in the day as a salesperson, I need to get myself like upbeat and energized. And I might sprint up and down the office and then get on the phone and go, hey, and come out with a sales pitch. Right. Don't really need to do that anymore because I'm 36 years of age and I've been doing it for a long time.
Not kids anymore.
But, maybe some people might have a drink, some people might punch yourself in the face. I mean, how do you get into like that role and like, or can you just switch it on?
Do you know what? It's about sounding big-headed, but it's going to sound big-headed. I can just switch it on. It's mental. I don't know how I do it. I don't know. I don't punch myself. I don't do... Well, if I've got like a scene with my top off, for example, and I've got a fucking, I would do press-ups because got to look good on screen. You worry about looking good. But if a director comes up to me and goes, right, there's 30 supporting artists, extras, whatever you call, they're called supporting artists, whatever, like 30 extras, for example, and it's just you, and you've come out in the pub and they all want you, and you're just known in the film, you don't give a fuck. And you're just coming in, let's fight. You're going to kill me, let's kill me. I'm on my own, there's 30 of you. Switch it on. It's the man. I don't know how I do it. I can be like, hey, mate, yeah, nice to see you again, yeah. You fucking you and that. Like, it just goes, mate. Mental. And then I'm back to normal.
Do you ever get like, this is me being so childish now, but like missus or your friends or your family members say, just show us a bit of acting, like switch it on.
Oh, God. All the
like you're in a pub or in a restaurant.
All the fucking time. All the time. I might go, go and do a scene for me. Go on, make me laugh. Oh, I'm not a fucking clown, you cunt. I'm not a fucking comedian. But I get it all the time. Or like, there was an iconic scene that me and Craig Fairbrass did in Rise of the Foot Soldier 3, the Pat Tate story, where he goes, 1 prostitute, 2 prostitute. I don't know if you've seen that bit, but
no.
He's on the balcony where he's got loads of cocaine. I come out and go, what are you doing? And he says, what's it look like I'm fucking doing? I said, all right, I just want to know what we're doing tonight. He goes, we're doing tonight, what we're fucking doing tonight. You see that? And he gets money out. He goes, 1 prostitute, 2, it goes up to 5 prostitutes. And I said, I can't do 5 prostitutes. He said, I'm not interested in you cunt. We're talking about me, what I want to do. He throws coke in my face. Anyway, it went viral, whatever. So some people who might see this will know what I'm talking about. But it's, that was all improvised on the day.
Do you know you said like people notice you and they're like fans or they're fans of the film and they notice you and they come over to you and they want an autograph or a photo or maybe you to rehearse one of the scenes that you've been in.
I mean, I don't usually do it. I mean, unless I'm like drunk or something, then I'm like, 1 prostitute. It's not real, by the way.
But the other side of it, and this is where people like mistake you as a person, Josh Myers, to a character, and they in their mind you are that person, and they got a resentment to that person, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Did they ever come and go, oh, you're a wanker? Because I'll tell you why I asked this question.
Yeah.
Jack Fincham, friend of ours, he had the same thing. Obviously being on reality TV, it's kind of him, but not him because
he's a lovely
and
boy.
He's had people come over to him, howled abuse at him, and he's like, "But that's not me who you see on TV. I'm me." So do you ever get that where they come over to you and they?
Well, I think reality TV and film stuff is a little bit different because reality TV is we all know it's all kind of set up, you know what I mean?
Slightly staged.
Yeah, it's slightly staged, they'd say, before we put the cameras on, you say that, he says that, we're going to have an argument, let's film it. With acting, there's a script, you stick to it. There's no stage stuff, like, I know what I'm doing. I'm not turning the camera on and going off script. I'm doing what I'm doing in the script. But do I get people coming up to me and saying, you're a cock? No. Because I get punched in the face. No, joking. That's a joke. No, not at all, really. I've been really lucky, touch wood, that anyone who's ever come up to me, asked for photo, pictures, whatever, blah, blah, or signature, they've all been really lovely. Like, oh, we love your character, you're such a... Because I think a lot of people who come up to me either follow me on socials and see that I'm massively about mental health and depression. I try and get men to open up about it. I'm always on pictures of my daughter. Inspirational quotes and stuff like that. They can see I'm not a prick. I'm a nice guy. I'm not. I don't portray to be this hard nut because that's me acting. I'm an actor. That's not me in real life. I could be on set one day stabbing, hitting someone over with a hammer. Next day I'm walking down the street with my daughter and loving life. Well, that's it's called being an actor. It's acting.
Yeah.
So I'm very lucky. I haven't had that. No.
What would you say the best thing about being an actor is?
Honestly, it's fucking fun. It is really fun. And you meet a lot of great other actors, actresses. I love meeting people. I love networking. I love making new friends. You can never have enough friends, you know what I mean? But I just love it, man. It honestly, it really, really helps me. like in life, like, and I can express myself in the characters that I play and the stuff that I wouldn't really do in my real life. Like, I'm not gonna go, oh fucking that geezer's looking at me, I'm gonna go get a hammer from my house and fucking put it over his head. You know, like we can all defend ourselves in a certain way, but you know, in real life, my character, if someone says what you're looking at, my character probably stab him or shoot him or fucking go have a fight with him. In real life, if someone says what you're looking at, I'll be like, whoa, calm down, mate. I haven't done anything. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Regardless if I could have a tear out of him or not, I don't like having a fight. That's not me. That's my character.
Yeah.
So don't try and have a fight with me because you see my character on all these different films be this hard nut. That's acting.
And on the flip side, what would you say is probably the worst thing about being an actor?
On the top of my head, probably the waiting around. Because the waiting arounds, as in like you could go to set for, let's say, getting the makeup trailer for 7 a.m, on set for 8:30, 9, and then they're like, oh, sorry, we've now changed the whole day around, which happens on film sets, and your scenes aren't now till end of the day. Oh, okay, so I've got to wait 8 hours before I even go on set. Yes. Okay, I'll just walk around here for 8 hours then. Like, but it happens. But even starting up, it happens. It's part of the game. Like, I'm very lucky now. I get my own trailer. I've got a hotel. So I'm like, oh, sweet, yeah, I'll go get a bit of food. I'll go to my hotel. I'll sit in my trailer. I can always make it, you know what I mean? But back in the day, when you're starting out, you ain't got your own trailer. You're just there. You got your car. I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do for 8, 9, 10 hours? Like, and then just to come on and do one scene and then go home, and you got the next day. That's probably the worst bit of the waiting game.
So, dovetailing, segueing into a slightly different conversation, something that you raised earlier, and I only want to talk about it, not to like bring up the past, but more about lessons, because as I said to you, my motivation behind my podcast is to interview driven go-getters, actors, athletes, people that are somebody, because when I was younger, when we were younger, there was no podcast, there was no YouTube interviews. And I want to inspire a young man, young female to give them a bit of direction in their life. But we all know one thing, that young people are sometimes veering off into different different groups of people that are not so good for them. They're doing either substances, or they're looking at the Joneses on Instagram and getting depressed because they think they should have a certain kind of life. So when I speak to people that have had mental health challenges or anxiety challenges, I like to talk about it, not to bring up the past, but how do you overcome it? You know, how do you recognize it, and what is the strategy to get above and beyond it? So if you wouldn't mind sharing a little sort of insight to that, Josh.
How I stopped me feeling depressed and
well basically, how did it all start? How did you know you felt depressed? How did you know you had anxiety issues at that time?
Good question. I've probably had mental health issues like depression for as long as I can remember. Since I was, I'm going back to school days when I remember seeing psychiatrists. I was scared of dying. I didn't want to go sleep because I thought if I go sleep, I won't wake up. I won't see my mum and dad. I won't see my brother and sister. I won't see my loved ones. So it all stemmed from that. And I wouldn't say I've been depressed all my life, but I do suffer with it. You know, as in like, and I get, again, you know, people say to me, what have you got to be depressed about? I don't fucking know. I generally don't know. I don't know what like if you said to me right now, what makes you depressed, Josh? I don't fucking know. I just wake up some days and I don't want to get out of my bed. I don't want to answer my phone. I don't want to talk to fucking anyone. And that's me being depressed. And that could last 3 or 4 days a week. And then my mum or dad will come and go, right, get your fucking ass out of bed, fucking sort your life out. And I go, right, okay, cool, I've been depressed, you know, and I'm not afraid to admit it. You know, I think any man who's watching this will see that I'm open about my mental health, my depression. I take pills for my depression every day, which help me massively. I think...
Is that like an antidepressant?
Antidepressant, yeah, exactly, yeah. So it's called escitalopram, which I take. I take 1 pill a day. So, like, again, I want people to see this and to think, oh, God, if he can talk about it, I can. Do you know what I mean? I want to help people, mainly men, not saying there's anything wrong with women, but women talk about it more with their girls. Do you know what I mean? Men don't, we like, we're hard geezers, we bottle it up. I don't need to tell you I'm depressed, but then next fucking minute you're fucking jumping off a building.
Because...
Oh, I should have talked to you. Why don't you open up and talk to me?
Yeah.
That's what it's about, opening up and talking to people like we are doing now.
When we were younger, my mum and dad, it's like the old school mentality, which actually served me quite well. Like, if I was going through tough times in my mind, my mum's kind of like, pick yourself up, brush yourself off and carry on. And that was the right advice for me because it helped me. Yeah. But with other people, that's not right advice. And it's all about tailoring advice to that right individual. Yeah. Back in the day, there was no talk about mental health. There was no talk about anxiety or depression because it wasn't really a thing that people spoke about. No. But now, it's certainly been highlighted a lot more due to celebrities, people in the public eye, and it's not a taboo no more. It's something that people are talking about.
100%.
Is it been like really dark days, Josh, I can talk about? Like,
of course. I mean, there's been very dark days for me. You know, I've been so depressed that I don't know if I'd ever would have acted on it, but I've thought about taking my life a few times. I mean, I'm not talking about recently. I'm talking about maybe 5, 6, maybe even 10 years ago that I just, you know, but even having these thoughts are terrible. Why am I thinking, what would the world be like? What would my mum and dad think? What would my friends think if I fucking kill myself? But I never did it. I was too scared. But it's just having those thoughts when I'm going to bed. Oh, what if I just take 30, 40 fucking pills of something and just drink loads of alcohol and not wake up? Where will I go? What will happen? But yeah, those thoughts were there on dark days, you know. But now I still get dark days now, but not as bad as I used to. Maybe that's the antidepressants helping me.
And how like, I know you said you don't want to get up out of bed and you don't want to talk to anyone, but what's the actual feeling like inside?
You just feel so low. You just feel like absolute shit. Like, you just feel lethargic, you feel tired. Look, everyone's got their own depression or whatever they suffer with, but I'm just telling you from my experience, that's what I feel like. I feel like I can't get out of bed, I feel tired. When I'm not, I don't know, I'm just hating the world, don't feel I'm good enough. I should be somewhere better by now. I should be an A-list actor, but I'm not. I'm fucking shit, you should just die. These are all the thoughts that I have in my head. But I overcome it by getting up every day and kicking my own fucking ass. If you want to help you, the only person that's going to help you, I've learned, is yourself. You can have psychiatrists, you can have your family. They're all good and you need them, but the only person that's going to help you is you. So I get up out of bed every morning, I go for a run, I do my training, do a bit of boxing, Thai boxing, whatever. I keep fit, I make sure I'm there for my daughter, my family. I'm just, I want to be the best dad. And I know I'm not in the stage where I'm an A-list actor yet. I know that. But I'm not going to let that get me down. I've got a good life. So people may think, how can you have depression? What do you mean? I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know the answer to it. If someone goes, but you're doing well in life, you do these films, you make good money, you've got a nice life, you've got a nice family. How can you be depressed? I've got nothing. I've got no job. I've got no I don't know. If I couldn't be depressed, I'll just, there you go, fuck off. I don't know. But I am. What can you do?
Well, when did you make it a bit more sort of public or known? Maybe not to like fans or followers, but like your friends and your family, because that must be a hard thing to suddenly say, you know what, guys, I'm not actually well here, or I can't cope with day-to-day living at the moment.
I think, like I said, it goes back to when I was younger. Like my mum and dad knew there was something wrong. Mum took me to a psychiatrist. I was just a fucking prick when I was younger. Like horrible to my parents, always arguing, acting out in school, just being an absolute cunt, really. Pardon my French, but just being horrible. They thought I had like attention deficit disorder. They all these things. And they were just like, he's suffers from anxiety, depressed. I get very excited about things too quickly, But it was just always something like.
Any bipolar, a little bit?
Not, I probably am. Not. I don't fucking know if I am or not. But then again, I could be. Because I could. I don't know. Because what I'm fucking. This is how mad the brain is. Yeah. So like. 2 or 3 days ago, I felt like shit. Like I literally was like, right, I'm putting my phone on silent. I'm just watching a film. I couldn't even concentrate. I was like, oh, what's wrong with me? Why do I feel like shit today? I had the best day yesterday. I saw my daughter. It was amazing. And then I woke up this morning. I'm like, I don't want to get up today. I just want to stay in bed. Go on, Josh, get up. Go for a run. Nope, not doing it. Go on. You've got one going, yeah, go on, do it. One going, no, you're depressed, stay in bed, you're a shit cunt, and the world hates you, blah, blah, blah. And then the other side going, no, get up, do it. And then thank God that side took over, went up, got for a run, had a shower. I'm up every day, 5, 6 in the morning going for a run. I'm in bed early and I just feel great. So
I was going to say this to you. What has resonated with myself and you is definitely into training, running, boxing. I know you used to do Muay Thai and stuff.
Yeah.
How important is training,
for your mental health?
And nutrition and,
massively.
Even like having the sports massages or relaxing, for your mental health kind of well-being, basically.
Yeah, I think for me personally, working out, running, Thai boxing, anything like that is so good for not just my mental health, but for anyone's mental health. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. If you're suffering with mental health, you've got a bit of depression, training is the best thing for you. It gets you out there, it releases serotonin, is that what it's called? Serotonin?
Yeah, endorphins, serotonin.
Endorphins, makes you feel, it makes me feel amazing. And if there's anyone watching this, mainly men, who feel like they're nothing, feel depressed, don't be afraid to talk to someone, talk to your loved ones, talk to anyone. You're not alone. Please talk to someone, because it helps massively. It helps me.
Look, Josh, what you just said there, I second that. I too have felt the anxiety, the fear, the slight depression, down days, your rut days, etc. Yeah. And I think every single human being, like you said earlier, if you went into anyone in Soho right now, have you ever fucked up in your life? Everyone's going to say yes.
100%.
The same question to them is, do you ever feel low? Do you ever feel slightly depressed or angry? Of course, it's part of being a human.
Yeah.
Without feeling these feelings, then there would be no good day. So you need to go through it.
Yeah.
Training for me has always got me through my toughest days, and it makes me feel uplifted. It makes me feel like I'm achieving something.
Sure.
Especially when I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm at the boxing gym at 6, and I'm beating the sun up,
Yeah.
and you just feel like if you beat that sun up,
beat the day.
Yeah,
that's what I feel.
You set a precedent for the day.
100%, mate.
But something I haven't done, which I'm quite intrigued by, and again, I'm not asking you this to antagonise you, but the antidepressant.
Yeah, sure.
The long-term strategy, though, is surely you can't be on that for the rest of your life.
I got asked this the other day, and funny enough, it's actually a good time you asked that, because I actually went for a checkup with my doctor because I'm on what's it called? I'm exempt from my depression pills, so I just get them every month, unless I decide to come off them. But I was having this conversation with my doctor. He's a private doctor of mine, and I've known him for a long time, and he's one who put me on them. But I was at a fucking low point, I started low, but I'm on a bit of a high dose now. That's why I'm always happy. Would I ever come off them? Don't think I would, if I'm honest.
Okay.
I don't need to. Why? It's one pill a day. It hasn't affected me physically. That my doctor said, look, to be fair, I'll be honest with you, it could be a placebo effect now. It could be doing nothing. But the fact that the way my mind works, if I come off them, and I know mentally I'll start going downhill, so I won't come off them. I don't need to. I'm happy. I'm loving life right now.
Do you know?
Took a double dose. That's why. I'm joking.
Do you know?
Happy.
This is probably not the right comparison, but my form of right. So I have times in the year when I come off coffee. Yeah, the only coffee I drink is a double espresso, no milk, no sugar.
Love that.
I just have that. Yeah. But I keep on reading all the time from different nutritionists and different people in wellbeing. Some people saying coffee's good, some people saying bad. And I've come to the conclusion that it's kind of almost an artificial high I put myself in because of the coffee and the caffeine. And I've come off of coffee for about 6-7 months, and then I find myself like drugs almost going back onto it, and I'm fighting myself every day going, shouldn't have a coffee. It's in my environment. I'm with people that drink it. When I get on a train, I just feel like I need one. But I say to myself all the time, but it's not a natural high. I should be able to feel high without it. But if I keep on having it, I'm never going to come off of it. So it's kind of like the same sort of thought process when you say to me, you're on an antidepressant. I understand it's helped, but the long-term strategy, when you're 55, 60, 70 years of age, do you still want to be on it, or you just think, well, it is what it is?
Listen, if I could come off them now, I would. But I just don't see the point. If everything's going all right upstairs, why would I rock the boat and come off them now?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously I'd love to come off them, but I just, everything in my life is going well. I can't fault anything at the moment. I don't like any negative energy in my life. That is a big no-no for me. Anything negative, I fuck off. I only like positive people around me, positive energy.
That's great.
And that's it.
On that note then, how important is it to achieve your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, becoming the best version of you?
Yeah.
How important is it to have a great winning team around you?
Oh, you got to have a winning team around you, 100%. I can't have any negative people around me, never. I used to have that when I was younger, growing up. You know people, there's always that one person who may be your friend, but they're chatting shit behind your back, they're jealous. Frenemy, yeah, exactly. But you got to have a good team around you. Got to have people who want to spur you on, support you, and see you succeed. I love seeing my mates succeed. I love seeing my mates do well, make good money. I'm like, fucking fair play to you, mate. Well done. Fucking good for you, mate. Keep smashing it. I'll be there for you. I'll help you do it. Pardon me, I'll do anything you want. Someone says to me, you're never going to make it as an actor. How do you know I'm not? I'll remember that when I do.
So you're 35 years of age now.
35.
So in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, in acting for now, where do you see yourself going? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to do?
I would like to win a BAFTA. And then maybe...
What do you have to do to win a BAFTA?
Got to be fucking good. No, I don't know. I reckon a good calibre of films. I want to get more known in the UK. Not just on the British, gangster films that I'm in, or... I want to be a known British actor that you can go to anyone on the street and go, do you know Josh Myers? They go, yeah, he's a good British actor. That's the aim I want to get to. Then I want to break America, and then the fucking world.
So obviously you're known for your acting, but there's a life outside of acting, Josh. I mean, I'm in business. I do a bit of boxing. I obviously do podcasting. There's a time I spend with my family, and there's other bits and pieces I get up to in my spare time. What does someone like you do when you're not focusing on a big film and auditioning for something?
I'll say chill out, but I work out quite a bit. Not really weights anymore, but I do a lot of running, jogging, do my Thai boxing, keep that healthy mind, healthy life.
Why, and on that note, why Thai boxing and Jiu-Jitsu? Because I love
it. I just love it. I've Thai boxed since I was like 12. Not professionally, but I just love doing it. I'm pretty good at it now. Jiu-Jitsu, I'm okay. I'm not like the best, but I just love the art form of it, the mixed martial arts. Boxing I like as well, but I just prefer Thai boxing. You get to use your hands, your elbows, your knees, your shins, your foot, whatever. With boxing, it's just hands. So even though I know it's... Come on, I'm not trying to mug any boxer off here. That is fucking hard. I've tried boxing. It's hard. The footwork I could never get. It's fucking hard. I just personally found Thai boxing easier. That's why I stuck with Thai boxing. Maybe it's an easier way out, maybe it isn't. I don't know.
I've done a bit of Thai boxing for a club called Keddles in Alpington, St Mary's Cray. Don't know if you know that area. No. So I had a big motorbike accident in 2005. Split my kidney open, was in the hospital, and I was a boxer. I was an amateur boxer for Bromley and Downham. Yeah. And when I got myself better, I started boxing down a club called Keddles. But I noticed that 95% of the people down there weren't actually doing boxing, they were doing Thai boxing. So I've done that for 3 years, never competed, done the sparring, and I really enjoyed it. And now, if anyone were to ask me, if you were to have a street fight, what's going to serve you best? It's the Thai boxing. Because of the knees, because of the elbows, because of the flying Superman punches, the teeps. It's all good stuff.
Of course.
Did you ever compete, or you ever think about competing maybe in the future?
No, I'll tell you why. There was times where like my coach would say, you're good enough to have a fight now. But I was more focused on my acting. I didn't want to go to auditions with black eyes. And once I did hard sparring, I had a black eye, bust my nose up. Typical, week later I got an audition. After weeks or so it proper comes out. And I had an audition for something. You're like, you're not going to get that with a black eye. What's the matter with you? So it's kind of like, what? Do I want to
choose?
I don't want to choose, and I chose acting. Yeah. That's my dream, and it still is.
You're a big fella though, man. You're like what, 6'2"?
I'm 6'2",
and your weight?
About 14 stone.
Cool, you'll be fighting some serious big
people. Exactly. That's another reason why I fucking do it. I like my fucking face. Where the fucking money is.
So outside of the Thai boxing and keeping fit, what else you get up to?
What else I do? I'm a big film person. Love watching films.
Is it hard for you, like being an actor, thinking I've noticed what they're doing, or I'm criticising this, or I love that? Are you like breaking it down all the time?
No, some films I watch, I just watch. But the thing is, I watch films now a lot differently to a lot of my friends or anyone, probably like yourself as well, because like you got to, I don't know, what, you know, you watch a film where, you know, there's a guy doing a monologue and it's just like me talking to the camera, but you don't realise there's 30, 40 people behind the camera just literally like that, staring at you, watching you do that. It's fucking hard work. So that's another thing that's quite scary as well and daunting. You know, like you go on set, on a big film set, you know, and there's like 100 people walking around doing everything, and then action, everybody's quiet, stop what they're doing to watch you. And they can see you on the monitor. Yeah. And you're like, fucking hell. It's fucking scary.
It's such a crazy thing, because as I'm getting to know you and chat to you, you're got so much confidence, and then when you talk about like the depression, it's almost like a mad paradox. It's like two different people. It kind of doesn't make sense. But I've seen a lot of people in business a bit like that, or even boxers, or people in different forms of art. You know, actually their depression, their anxiety is actually helped them in their craft, because they can funnel that energy into something a bit more positive. Have you always been this confident?
100%. I'm always been. Well, no, look, don't get me wrong. When I have my dark days of depression and feel like shit, no, I'm not confident at all. But I'm genuinely a confident person. I'm very positive. I push myself to be the best person I can be. I push my friends. I push my family. If I see anyone that I love struggle or feel down, I'm always fucking there to making sure, come on, mate, get your fucking ass up, man, woman, whoever it is. To be the best that they can be. I mean, I speak to my friends all the time. You know, I could say to someone, yeah, mate, I always check up on my loved ones. Whether it's just a message or a call, like, I ain't spoke to him in a couple of weeks. How you doing, mate? You all right? Yeah, I'm all right. What's happening? I'm like, what's the matter? You sound a bit down. No, I'm all right. No, what's wrong? Talk to me. I'm right. And then you're like, oh, actually, you know what? Right, come and meet you. I'll go for dinner, have a chat.
Yeah.
Helping people.
Yeah.
I love helping people. I love being that positive person in people's life. Making someone go, you know what, Josh, thank you for coming out with me tonight. Means a lot. I feel so much better.
Yeah.
I love being that positive person. You've got to be positive in life. What's the point of being a negative cunt? Fuck all that shit, man.
Positivity, not optimism, just opens doors as well.
Massively, man. And people want to see that on the film set as well. If you're there being a positive person, you know, you up and set 6 a.m, and was like, oh yeah, morning, you are, you know, don't want to be the fucking an idiot, like, oh, hello, and annoy everyone. But you want to be that, come on, guys, we've got a job to do here, let's fucking do it. Let's smash the day.
Yeah.
Wake up, come on, let's fucking get some coffee in, yeah? Let's smash the fucking day.
I know you said earlier you're a Chelsea supporter.
Yes, come on the Blues.
Which I'm a Chelsea supporter. My brother Charlie obviously works down there part-time, trying to get him a full-time role down there.
Come on, Chelsea, sort it out.
So, do you go there a lot, Chelsea?
I haven't been there for a long time. I've got a season ticket, West Lower. My dad Martin is a mental Chelsea fan. Like, goes home and away with Chelsea. Has
it helped you like in the films because you like know how the Chelsea or football supporters are?
Yeah and no, and obviously again through upbringing, through people I used to hang around with, seeing fights, seeing things you shouldn't really see, and you portray that in front of camera. So yeah, kind of.
Yeah. So it's Chelsea's is the team that you support. You've got a lot of mates who go down there.
Have I got a lot of mates who go down there? Pardon me. I don't, not really, no. I mean, all my mates support like Spurs, Arsenal. I mean, a few support Chelsea, but I mean, my dad goes, my brother goes. I used to go all the time, but I just don't get the time anymore. I want to go again because my dad just loves it, and it's nice to go with my dad. You know, get a bit of dinner, go down to Chelsea.
It's a lovely day out.
A lovely day out, but I just find it very hard. Like during the week, it's like I'm either meetings in London or I'm acting, or I'm always, I don't know. There's always just something the last year, especially COVID as well.
Yeah.
But the last like prior to COVID, I was doing quite a bit of filming. Then the COVID happened. No football, now there's football again. My dad just sells my season ticket to either my brother's friend or his friend. So it never goes without someone taking it. So.
Yeah, I asked you a question earlier about goals. And you said straight away BAFTA, and there's a few other things which are going to sort of dovetail off the back end of winning the BAFTA, etc. And obviously doing different films. When people ask me about my goals, I'm actually quite open about the fact that, I do want to make a lot of money from business because for me, life is a bit like a theme park, right?
Yeah.
And different theme parks will cost you a different amount of money or tokens to get on them rides.
Yeah.
And I want to have enough money where I've got an option to go on them rides or not. If I don't want to go on it, that's fine, but I've at least got an option.
Yeah.
Money gives you options. Doesn't make you a better person or a worse person.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you happier or sadder. It just gives you options.
Yeah.
I do want to have a bigger house for my family. I do want to have the nicer things in life for my family, and I want to travel the world with my family. And I'm not afraid to saying that. Some people though still have like the mindset that money might be the root of evil, and there's like a bad connotation to it.
Yeah.
What's your relationship with money? Do you think it's something that is?
I love it.
You know, have you got financial goals? Have you got materialistic goals? Why is money important to you?
I think, do you know what, all jokes aside, realistically, money is important to me because I want to give my family a really good life. I can't say like what people say, I want to give them a lot better life than I had growing up. I can't say that because I had a good life. I'm not saying I come from money, but my dad was comfortable. So I'll never say that. But I want to do it on my own. I want to give my daughter the best life she's ever had in her life. I want to, go away with my family. I want to, pretty much, you hit the nail on the head there. That's exactly what I want to do. I don't really care about having the biggest house or the best car. I just want to have enough money in the bank that I can be comfortable for the rest of my life. And that is what I'm striving to do right now.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I know this is your first time here. I'd like to ask my guests here. So first time being at Woodbury House.
Yes.
And first time me giving you a bit of a pitch about the artist that we represent called Richard Hamilton. Yeah. What's your thoughts, feelings and view on Richard Hamilton based upon what I told you so far?
He's a fucking legend, isn't he? Absolutely. I mean, some of the paintings you showed me, I never would have guessed how much money they were. I mean, it's fucking unbelievable, the artwork. I think I'll have to invest in something soon, don't I? But no, I mean, I'm blown away, to be fair. I love this place. It's got a nice aura about it. Some of the paintings are a bit creepy, but I love them. I think they're wicked, mate. There's
a crossover between acting, music and the arts. I mean, you must have been in that environment outside of film, quite a lot. I mean, you must have met some really cool artists.
I've met a few cool artists when I drink in Soho, the Groucho Club. Big up the Groucho Club. I've met a few people, but I mean, no one that as famous to me like this guy. I mean, his artwork. I've never actually met, or I've never actually been this close to artwork that's worth, like 700 grand, £1 million in the other room. Just it's crazy, man. Because even though it looks amazing. Like, there's a lot of people who would probably go, well, that's worth £1 million, like a horse, geezer on a horse, it's not even painted right. Well, do you see what I'm saying? That's probably how I thought, but I was like, well, that's worth £1 million right now.
Do you know what it is the most common thing that people say who are just looking at art as the visual aspect of it without understanding the culture, the narrative. I'm going to sound really arty-farty here, like a wanker.
Do it.
But the narrative, the culture, the story, the back, the heritage, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If they just look at it, people go, oh, my son could have done that, or a kid could have done that. But the moment they get educated on the whole ecosystem and the whole environment,
how you educated me on this,
then it starts shaping your taste buds, and that's how people start getting hooked on the art market.
I ain't gonna lie, you fucking nearly pitched me to buy one. I was like, what the fuck? How much is that? 100 grand? No, yeah, I'll take 5. No, but that one you told me about there, about the syringe, about that painting. I mean, that's fucking beautiful, man.
It is.
Really good story, man.
I really appreciate your time.
Mate, pleasure,
and
bro.
You've been an absolute gent. It's been an absolute honour to meet you and interview you. And as your life goes on and you achieve more,
we'll meet again.
I would love to do a part 2 in the future.
100%, bro. Definitely.
Where can people find you to follow you, Josh?
So on my Instagram, it's at Josh Myers 1986. My Twitter is Josh Meyer so Josh MYER 5. And that's it, really.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've got one more question.
Go for it.
So when I set up my first company when I was 24 years of age, it was a sales company.
Right.
Most of the salespeople there had about 50 people working for me at one time.
Wow.
And
good for you.
Most of them were men and some of them were females. It was like a very alpha male sort of environment.
Right.
And being in sales, very similar to acting, I guess, is to be in your peak state so you can perform at your peak level. Because you're transferring your enthusiasm to the client to get them to buy.
Right.
So I come up with a mantra, which is be happy, never content. And I used to do my presentation and tell the stuff to be happy, never content. If I were to ask Josh Myers, what does be happy, never content mean to you?
So being happy probably being happy and not content.
Be happy, never content.
Well, content is mean you're being happy, like you're content in your life. I'm not, and I'm definitely not.
Yeah.
I want to be happy. I am happy, but I could be happier, and I want to strive to be happier. So I get what you're saying is be happy, not content. Be happy, love life, but don't settle on one thing.
Love that answer. I want to shout out to my podcast sponsors and brand partners, Willingwood Watches. I've got one of their kettles on today.
Wicked.
Also, I've got the London Fire Brigade Boxing, who also backs my podcast. And the third and final thing, and if you're around in March, the London Watch Show is another brand partner of ours, and also Woodbury House. We're doing a presentation on the 18th, 19th and 20th at the Grosvenor House Hotel.
Lovely.
It's a watch show, but there's also going to be art, whiskey, passion assets.
I'll be there.
Private aviation is going to be phenomenal. I'm doing a presentation on stage over the next over them days. It'd be great to meet people there. If you enjoyed the podcast, definitely enjoyed Josh's story, please follow him. And if you're liking my podcast, please subscribe and do all that great stuff. Be happy, never content, and God bless.
That's wicked.
Thank you, mate.
Welcome, brother.
Cheers.
Pleasure.